welcome. You're watching the political stock exchange. The BJP has decided to field heavyweight central ministers and MPs in the Madhya Pradesh battlefield. It's being said that the same strategy could be implemented in Rajasthan and in Chhattisgarh. Will this work in favor of the BJP? Does it show muscularity or does it show nervousness? This week's edition of the Political Stock Exchange will try and answer these questions as we decode the state of war in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh.
स्वागत है भाई, स्वागत है मोदी जी का, स्वागत है भाई, स्वागत है.
Prime Minister declares state of war. Enters key battleground states. Prime Minister slams Congress appeasement in Rajasthan.
कपड़े सिलाने के बहाने लोग आते हैं और बिना डर, बिना खौफ के टेलर का गला काट देते हैं.
Brands opposition anti-Vikas in Madhya Pradesh.
इन लोगों का सिर्फ एक ही काम है, देश की प्रगति से नफरत.
Crucial semi-final before 2024 final. That is a big focus on Newstrack.
It's the semi-final before the big 2024 general elections. The Prime Minister today was in battleground Rajasthan, where he launched a full-throated attack on the Congress and the Ashok Gehlot government. The Prime Minister raked up the beheading of Kanhaiya Lal and accused the Congress government of appeasement.
A gruesome murder. The killers of tailor Kanhaiya Lal filmed the horrifying act and posted it online. The individuals featured in the video were apprehended and taken into police custody. The NIA took charge of the case, ultimately filing a charge sheet in December.
उस राजस्थान की धरती पर इतना बड़ा पाप हुआ. कपड़े सिलाने के बहाने लोग आते हैं और बिना डर, बिना खौफ के टेलर का गला काट देते हैं और वीडियो बनाकर गर्व से वायरल कर देते हैं. कांग्रेस सरकार को उसमें भी वोट बैंक की चिंता सताती है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi attacks the Rajasthan Congress under whose rule Kanhaiya Lal was hacked to death about 15 months ago. In a rally in Chittorgarh, in poll-bound Rajasthan, Prime Minister Modi accused the Ashok Gehlot government of plunging the state into crime.
5 साल में कांग्रेस की सरकार ने राजस्थान की साख को तबाह कर दिया है, तबाह कर दिया है. मैं इस मेवाड़ की धरती को साख से रख करके कहना चाहता हूं, जब यहां से खबरें आती है बहुत दुखी मन हो जाता है. आज जब अपराध की बात आती है तो कौन सा राज्य टॉप पर आता है? कौन सा राज्य? ये हमारा राजस्थान.
The Prime Minister further alleged that the state's chief minister is embroiled in internal strife within the Congress party.
यहां गहलोत जी सोते, जागते, बैठते, उठते मुख्यमंत्री की कुर्सी बचाने में लगे थे और आधी कांग्रेस उनकी कुर्सी गिराने में जुटी थी. जनता को अपने हाल पर छोड़कर ये लोग आपसी लड़ाई में ही व्यस्त रहे, हिसाब चुकता करने में लगे, अपने बेटों को सेट कैसे करना, इसलिए दूसरे के बेटों को कैसे उखाड़ देना।
In response, the Congress party fired back. Party leader Sachin Pilot described the Prime Minister's frequent tours of Rajasthan as a sign of the BJP's imminent defeat in the state.
जनता समझ रही है कि उनके आने का दौरे लगाने का बार-बार करने का उद्देश्य क्या है। अगर राजस्थान के 8 करोड़ लोगों की भलाई की बात होती तो मैं समझता हूं जो पिछले 5 साल का कार्यकाल निकला है केंद्र सरकार का, उसमें सारे सांसद बच्चे से और राजस्थान की जो विशेष मांगे थी उनको पूरा करने की चेष्टा भी नहीं करी गई। और अब पिछले 6-8 महीने में लगातार दौरे कर रहे हैं और सब जानते हैं कि दौरे राजनीतिक ज्यादा हैं और प्रशासनिक कम हैं।
Trading accusations and promises, a charged atmosphere in Rajasthan in the run-up to state elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
After Rajasthan, the Prime Minister was in Madhya Pradesh's Gwalior, which also goes to polls later this year. In Gwalior, Prime Minister Modi opened a fresh front against the Congress, accusing the party of playing caste politics and being anti-Vikas.
एमपी का विकास वो लोग नहीं कर सकते जिनके पास ना तो कोई नई सोच है न विकास का रोड मैप है। इन लोगों का सिर्फ एक ही काम है, देश की प्रगति से नफरत, भारत की योजनाओं से नफरत। अपनी नफरत में ये देश की उपलब्धियों को भी भूल जाते हैं। आज आप देखिए, पूरी दुनिया भारत का गौरवगान कर रही है। दुनिया में भारत का डंका बज रहा है कि नहीं बज रहा है? बज रहा है कि नहीं बज रहा है? आज दुनिया को भारत में अपना भविष्य दिखता है, लेकिन जो राजनीति में उलझे हुए हैं, कुर्सी के सिवा जिनको कुछ नजर नहीं आते, उन्हें आज दुनिया में हिंदुस्तान का डंका बजना भी अच्छा नहीं लगता है। मोदी ने गारंटी दी है कि अगले कार्यकाल में भारत दुनिया की टॉप 3 इकोनॉमी में एक नाम हमारे हिंदुस्तान का होगा। इससे भी सत्ता भूखे कुछ लोगों के पेट में दर्द हो रहा है। मेरे परिवारजनों, विकास विरोधी लोगों को देश ने 6 दशक दिए थे। 60 साल कोई कम समय नहीं होता है। अगर 9 साल में इतना काम हो सकता है तो 60 साल में कितना हो सकता था? उनके पास भी मौका था, वो नहीं कर पाए। ये उनकी नाकामी है। वो तब भी गरीबों की भावनाओं से खेलते थे, आज भी वही खेल खेल रहे हैं। वो तब भी जात पात के नाम पर समाज को बांटते थे, आज भी वही पाप कर रहे हैं। वो तब भी आकंठ भ्रष्टाचार में डूबे रहते थे और आज तो वो एक से बढ़कर एक घोर भ्रष्टाचारी हो गए हैं। वो तब भी सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक परिवार का गौरवगान करते थे, आज भी वही करने में वो अपना भविष्य देखते हैं। इसलिए उनको देश का गौरवगान पसंद नहीं आता।
In this week's edition of the Political Stock Exchange, we want to look at the BJP's big decision of fielding senior cabinet ministers, members of parliament in the assembly elections. This was done initially in Chhattisgarh. The same has been done in Madhya Pradesh. Now there's talk about the strategy being replicated when the next lists come out in Rajasthan and in Telangana. To talk about the impact that this has and whether this shows aggression, muscularity, or does it show nervousness. We're joined on this week's edition of the Political Stock Exchange. I want to welcome first Yashwant Deshmukh, leads C-Voter. That's the data agency that's doing this polling for us. We've got Dr. Sandeep Shastri, National Coordinator at the Lokniti Network, well-known cephalogist representing the two national parties. We've got Toheen Sinha, National Spokesperson of the BJP, squaring off against him, Dr. Shama Mohammad of the Congress. I want to go across and take the first question. The BJP has fielded MPs and union ministers in the upcoming assembly elections. According to you, will the BJP benefit from the strategy of fielding these big names in the assembly elections? Here are the answers. 41% think that this strategy will be beneficial. 34% say it will not be beneficial. 17% say it will benefit to some extent. That's almost 48% of the respondents thinking it will benefit either to a great extent or to some extent. 1/3 of the respondents feel the strategy will not be beneficial at all. Will this lead to more groupism, lobbying for who becomes the next chief minister? Let's take a look at the responses in this political stock exchange tracker. 46% of the respondents think that this will lead to more lobbying. 37% say no. But the interesting thing there is to look at this 63% of NDA supporters. 63% of NDA supporters, and it's in the NDA that this decision has been taken, feel that the decision to field more ministers and MPs will in fact increase lobbying for the post of Chief Minister. I want to go across and get our first set of reactions. I'll start with Yashwant Deshmukh. The headline number is that 6 out of 10 NDA supporters think that this decision to field MPs and ministers will increase the amount of lobbying for who gets to be Chief Minister next. Does that then make this a double-edged sword? It's good because you get these MPs, ministers galvanized, they'll fight their seats, try and ensure that there's a ripple effect on the neighboring seats. The backside though is the flip side though is you don't know who is in charge, and it increases groupism, factionalism, which is never good in an election.
Well, Rahul, I can't really blame the BJP voters or NDA supporters because they are used to the idea of voting for a face. Remember, it's been almost like 30 years that BJP's political narrative has been questioning the opposition. आपका नेता कौन है? आपका CM कौन बनेगा? PM कौन बनेगा? चेहरा कौन है? आपकी टीम का लीडर कौन है? So all these questions has made in the last 3 decades BJP as the party which has been largely contesting election by giving up a face, even putting up a face. You know, even in states like Kerala where they find even single seats to win difficulty, they did put up.
So in this election, they've decided in Rajasthan and in Chhattisgarh. Even in Madhya Pradesh to some extent, they're not making the next chief minister's face known clearly. They're going with this collective leadership under the watch of Prime Minister Modi. Does this help them in your view? Does this hurt them?
It might or it might not help. You know, I mean, certainly these states are a bit different, kind of Karnataka-like situation where they decided way in advance that they have to phase out Mr. Yeddyurappa. But over here, if they really wish to phase out the sitting faces, they should have probably done a little bit early in the game and came up with alternative faces. I guess what has happened over here is, Rahul, that the faces which they really wanted to phase out are not really phased out from the public memory as such, or largely BJP has been unable to give an alternative state leadership or project a name which could phase out the previous name. So in order to come over this handicap, they probably decide, okay, why not give all these second liners a chance, make them a regional kind of leaders in their own way, and throw a dice, okay, if you can win. I mean, something like which Congress experimented in the Himachal election, that the 3 major regional candidates, leaders they threw a challenge that, okay, whoever comes back with a larger number of MLAs, we will make that person the chief minister. So that
Tuhin
kind
Sinha,
of
I was in Chhattisgarh over the weekend, and the biggest question there in BJP circles and outside is who will be the face? And the problem is, as I spoke to each of the BJP leaders, they're also wondering the same thing. They're all explaining why they're the best to be chief minister. Now, Yashwant makes an important point. The BJP for a very long time fought with a very clearly chosen face. Does this ambiguity run the risk of creating confusion, uncertainty in your ranks?
Well, good evening, Rahul. Good evening, everybody. Well, I would say even in the past, there have been multiple elections where BJP has not gone ahead with a face. You know, some of the examples which come to my mind are 2014 Maharashtra elections, 2015 Jharkhand elections. And when it comes to Chhattisgarh, the issues are so strong. You know, the unabashed corruption, the multiplicity of scams that, you know, that is sufficient to send across the message. We have 4 or 5 brilliant leaders who have been very active on the ground, and any one of them could eventually succeed and become the chief minister. But on the other question that you were asking on the Madhya Pradesh, in the Madhya Pradesh elections where many of the MPs have been fielded, see, ours is a party where winnability and the larger cause for the party always holds precedence over personal ambition. So I have in the past, you know, in my 25 years of association with the BJP, I have seen central level leaders adapt very easily at the state level and vice versa. And we are also devising a customized plan. So what, you know, instead of a one-size-fits all plan, which the Congress
no, but it unsettles people.
Goes ahead with,
now, let's look at the plight of Shivraj Singh Chouhan, your tallest leader in Madhya Pradesh. Yashwant Deshmukh's polls very clearly show that he is number one very clearly, and the other BJP leaders are much below him. Now, he hasn't got a ticket yet. He doesn't know whether he'll be chief minister next. And around him, everyone's wondering the same question. Will he come back? Will he be CM? That really undermines. And if your party itself is not satisfied with his performance, how do you go to the people and tell them to vote you back? You yourself don't seem very impressed with him. You know, the good part about the BJP is that we don't have insecure leaders. So whatever be the role, you know, even I'm sure Shivraj Singh Chouhan would be more than convinced that the party would take care of his interests and would acknowledge his contribution. So for what I'm trying to say is that even in Maharashtra, you have seen that more than the pad, more than the designation, it's the responsibility which matters. And each of the karyakartas, each of the leaders have risen to the occasion because the larger cause over here becomes more important, which is winning the elections. The rest of the things really don't matter. Okay, Shama Mohammed, this strategy worked for the Congress in Himachal Pradesh, where Pratibha Singh, Mukesh Agnihotri, Sukhwinder Sukhu were all kept in the fray. You know, you also run, let's see, we'll decide later. It's worked for you in the past, and therefore, there's no reason why the BJP should be anxious about whether this will work. Everyone's giving their best shot, and let the best man or woman triumph later.
Hi, Rahul. I was listening to Tuhin right now. He was speaking of elections and his party like a corporate thing. You know, we have to understand this is a democracy. There are people who rise from grassroots levels. I have been working in my state, Kerala, and elsewhere, and I know what it is to do grassroots politics. They aim for certain things. Sometimes they aim for become a councillor, then a block president, then they want to become an MLA. So it is a step-by-step process. Now, if the central part is taking all this decision, then what happens to the state leaders? Now, you spoke about my state, Himachal. They are all state leaders. Nobody airlifted from elsewhere. And eventually...
No, but none of these leaders have been airlifted either. Narendra Singh Tomar, Fagan Singh Kulaste, anybody who's been made to stand, Prahlad Patel or Kailash Vijayvargiya, they're all formidable leaders in their neck of the woods.
Nobody is denying that, but they're members of parliament, central ministers coming in here. In the case of Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu, he has been a grassroots leader, and we have rewarded a grassroots leader. Let's understand that. Another very important question I want to ask the BJP today. They are talking about one nation, one poll. These ministers will, suppose they win, or the members of parliament win. then there will be a huge number of by-elections. Now, on one side, you talk about one election, one nation, one poll, and the other side, you say there are going to be by-elections. So everything to suit yourself.
So let Tohin Sinha respond to it, because we saw this in Tripura as well, where leaders who were MPs were made to contest. Later, they were made to give up their assembly election seat. That's a waste of time, energy, resources. Will they stay on as ministers? Will they work in the state? Why put everyone under this uncertainty?
Rahul, you need to understand that BJP has been in government in Madhya Pradesh for a good 20 years if you remove the 1.5 years in between. So some amount of anti-incumbency is bound to happen, and to thwart that, to circumvent that, we are employing surprises. But let me also tell you that we have a customized plan for each state. What works in Madhya Pradesh may not work in Tamil Nadu. It may not work in another state. And that is the beauty of this BJP. It is always on its feet.
Okay,
personal
let
ambition
Sandeep
is not
Shastri
as
respond to that.
important
Now,
as
here's the thing. BJP earlier used to say, Chehra batao. Now, they are working the strategy for every state based on what's happening in that state. Net, do you think this is advantageous for the BJP, or could it prove counterproductive because everyone's unsettled?
Rahul, the BJP hopes with one arrow to hit many targets. Let me quickly tell you 4 targets they are hoping to achieve. Number 1, it brings in the surprise element which BJP is always known for. Nobody had anticipated 7 MPs would be there, 3 ministers would be there in the list in Madhya Pradesh. Secondly, it leaves everyone guessing, including the leaders themselves, as to what would happen in the future, and nobody is assured of getting a position. Thirdly, the BJP also would like to show that we have no dearth of leadership in our party. And lastly, it shows that no one is indispensable for the party. However, I think the point being made that when you field MPs, especially 3 of them ministers in the government, and if they were all to win, are we going to then see 7 by-elections to the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha? What happens to the central ministries that they are handling in the last 7-8 months of the BJP government? If they are going to be retained at the center, you are going to cause 7 by-elections in the state, assuming that these leaders win. If they do not win, of course, there is no challenge which comes up here. So I think these are some of the issues that come up. And as I said, the BJP's aim very clearly is hit many targets with one arrow.
Okay. In fact, some of these leaders have said that they too are surprised by the party's decision to field them. Some didn't comment. The likes of Kailash Vijayvargiya said they weren't expecting this. They weren't particularly keen on contesting. So they've actually come out in public and said that. Let's listen in.
अंदर से खुश नहीं, सच कह रहा हूँ, इसलिए कि मेरी लड़ने की इच्छा ही नहीं थी, 1% भी इच्छा नहीं थी। एक माइंडसेट होता है ना लड़ने का, अपने को तो जाना भाषण, अब बड़े नेता हो गए, अब हाथ जोड़ने का जाते, तो भाषण देना और निकल जाना, भाषण देना और निकल जाना, ये सोचा था हमने तो प्लान ये बनाया था कि रोज 8 सभा करनी है, 5 हेलीकॉप्टर से और 3 कार से। पर आप जो सोचते वो होता क्या, भगवान की जो इच्छा होती वही होता है।
Kailash Vijayvargiya making no bones of the fact that he too is surprised by the fact that he has to fight, and he didn't particularly want to do so. Okay, so can the BJP avoid anti-incumbency by using this formula in the 2024 elections? By cancelling the tickets of sitting MPs and fielding new faces. So let's take a look at the responses to this question. Does this cut anti-incumbency by putting up new faces? 56% of the total voters say yes. 66% of NDA voters say yes. This helps in negating anti-incumbency. 17% say no. 26% say that they don't know. So Yashwant Deshmukh, on this question whether it negates anti-incumbency, yes, to some extent it does. It also makes everybody insecure. Is that a good thing? Because usually in management, if one person is in charge, he knows he's in charge, then he's working towards a particular task. If everyone is unsettled and wobbly, that does make the ship more unsettled because nobody is feeling secure.
Well, Rahul, funny thing is that I guess that a lot of deadwood is also being aimed at to be sorted out by the BJP by doing that. Looking at few of the leaders' statement on unhappiness of getting the ticket, that they were not really prepared, that they have become the bigger leaders now, and why they have been asked to campaign like that. So I guess that some of the deadwood is also going to be sorted out by them. And also the fact that a lot of people who actually claim to be in the chief ministerial rail, I guess they have been given a chance that, okay, if you want to be the chief minister, prove yourself. Because in the Lok Sabha elections, all of us know it is in the name of Modi they actually get elected. बाढ़ आती है, बाढ़ में जीत के आ जाते हैं. But do they actually get to win the Lok Sabha seat by themselves? So
no, but Sandeep Shastri, the flip side of this is that let's see Narendra Singh Tomar, Jyotiraditya Scindia come from roughly the same Gwalior Chambal belt. Now, if both are contesting, their supporters are daggers drawn, even if the principals are trying to get along as best as possible. Does that then just try and, fit too many swords into a sheath, because there ultimately can be only one sword in a sheath?
Yes, but Rahul, we need to understand the dynamics within the BJP today. You have a central leadership which is strongly in control of what's happening. And therefore, state level leaders need to necessarily fall in place with the game plan which the central leadership has. So if 3 union ministers are contesting, and if all the 3 win, and if BJP is in a position to form the government, ultimately it will be the central leadership which decides, and everybody falls in place and listens. Now, this may be the hope of the BJP in terms of how it manages its leadership and manages its situation of plenty in terms of leadership. Can it boomerang? I think it's something which in the long run could have an impact, because
we've already seen this, Tuhin Sinha, in Karnataka, where Sandeep Shastri comes from. No matter what BS Yeddyurappa said, ultimately there were 10 plus MLAs belonging to the Yeddyurappa camp who won on non-BJP tickets. Now, if somebody like a Vasundhara Raje Scindia, who's as formidable as she is in Rajasthan, doesn't give it her all, Yashwant's polls show her as the #1 most recognizable face, most wanted face of the BJP in Rajasthan. But for whatever reason, if she's not picked, if Shivraj Singh Chouhan is unsettled, I met with Dr. Raman Singh, the former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, if all of them are unsettled, they may not be able to give their all. And if they don't give their all, ultimately it proves expensive, and there's no way for the party to control that, because in Karnataka, Yeddyurappa did what he did, and you figured out what he did only after the results came out.
Rahul, if you just, you travel to Chhattisgarh, if you travel to Madhya Pradesh, and if you follow the schedule of Mamaji, if you follow the schedule of Shivraj Singh Chauhan, you would see the kind of dedication and the passion that he is putting in. And the same applies to Vasundhara Raje Scindia. In Karnataka, the issues were different. In Madhya Pradesh, the issues are different. Ladli Lakshmi Yojana, which was started 15 years ago, and now the Ladli Behen Yojana, has a huge impact on voters. I think the issues over here, and besides, the way the Congress is going all out to divide the society by faking this misinformation about OBC people in OBC officials in the central government, I think the issues are far bigger today. It's about those who want to unify the country and those who want to divide the country. And the same would apply.
Let me ask that question, even though we'll deal with that separately later. But just on the issue of the caste census, now that this has been made public, we're seeing the likes of Rahul Gandhi and the others, Sandeep Shastri, use this as a war cry in the assembly elections and otherwise. Do you think, because the BJP would like everyone to consolidate around their religious identity, the opposition now trying to create these caste fissures around OBC, around caste census, does this provide the opposition with a counter to the BJP's nationalism?
Rahul, you may hear a new narrative soon, Sanatana Dharma versus Jati Dharma. Now, this is likely to come up. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, where the opposition...
No, it's already heading in that direction.
Sorry?
It's already heading in that direction.
And I think this is going to be 2 narratives which are going to play out in this election. Is the focus on everybody seen together, or is the focus on those social groups which have been deprived and required to be given their fair share? Now, this debate, I think, is going to be central in the coming assembly elections and also in the Lok Sabha election.
Yashwant Deshmukh, the Bihar caste census is out. It shows that OBCs, SCs plus STs are much more than was originally anticipated. General caste only about 15%. The opposition is making this a big deal. Even the Congress has come around to the demand of a caste census, which they were opposing when they were in government. Can this Sanatan Dharma versus your caste become a war cry for the opposition?
Well, they can try for sure, but I don't know how much it is going to work on those lines. The Mandal Kamandal politics of the 80s, can it be played out again on the line of social injustice or social justice, whichever way you look at it? What finds me difficult to answer this question is the empirical data, Rahul, that in the 80s, the BJP was an upper caste, urban, middle class, higher income group kind of a party. The BJP under Narendra Modi is a different game altogether. The reason Narendra Modi got the 2014 and 19 mandate because he managed to get majority of the scheduled caste, majority of the scheduled tribe, and majority of the OBCs voting for the BJP. So, largely speaking, all these parties who have a caste line identity of politics, barring the one major caste, for example, the Yadavs in Bihar or Yadavs in Uttar Pradesh, and so on in different states, barring that major one particular caste, the rest of the scheduled caste, rest of the tribes, rest of the OBCs, which form almost like the 70 to 80% of these blocks, have not been following that kind of a line of politics which they would have liked them to vote on. So
no, but we also know, like was the case in 2015 in Bihar, when communities rally around their caste, that can prove and has proven to be a counterfoil to a religious nationalism.
But Rahul, counter to that is that, the same kind of identity politics get resolved when we look into the national election. So we know for sure a significant number of Yadavs in Bihar, significant number of Yadavs even in Uttar Pradesh voted for Narendra Modi when the Lok Sabha elections came in. So there, what I see that the identity politics plays a very important role in the local election. But as they tend to go into the upper ladder of election at the state and the central level, these identities are no more the defining factors the way it used to be in the 80s.
Sure, but the question is, what do you put first, your caste identity or your religious identity? And the opposition, in a rather regressive fashion, this is not modern contemporary politics. And I want to put that question to Shama Mohammed, because when you were in opposition, when you were in government, you were opposing the caste, and this is just opportunism of the most brazen kind, because while you were in government, Shama, you were opposing all of what you are now pitching for. This is just as a desperate attempt to counter the popularity of the Modi government.
Okay, Rahul, before I come to that, couple of points. One is that what I see today, when the state governments, when they're getting MPs and MLAs, MPs from, or the cabinet ministers, the reason is being rattled because I'm telling you today, we are winning Madhya Pradesh, we are winning Chhattisgarh, we are winning Rajasthan. It is very clear that we are winning all these states, including Telangana. So we are up there, and hence we have strong state leaders. Let's understand that. He said just now to him that he has a passion. There's a lot of passion shown by Shivraj Singh Chouhan. Then my question to him is, why not give him the ticket and ask him to lead? They had a Parivartan Yatra in Rajasthan. And in that Yatra, there was hardly anyone. They had to stop the Yatra. None of the women came because they did not project Vasundhara Raje. So these are all open secrets out there. The other important thing is that they are worried in Madhya Pradesh because the highest number of atrocities against Dalits and the SCs are in Madhya Pradesh. 63.9% are the cases in SC atrocities against SCs. And Dalits, every day they have 20 cases. We all know what recently happened, the urinating incident, as well as the...
Okay, so let me take the... Okay, fair enough. Let me take the... You didn't answer my question. I want you not to diverge. Just come straight to the point and answer my question about how By pushing the caste census, the Congress is now trying to do what they were opposing while they were in government. This is rank political opportunism. Respond to this question.
Rahul, we are the one who did the caste census. Only a report did not come out. You know that very well. In 2011, we did it. We asked for a caste census. Only thing is the report did not come out. I don't know why you're saying we are against it. From where do you get that? The report of that caste census did not come out. But
because your government didn't let the report come out because you didn't want to open a new Pandora's box.
No, the government changed. And also, let's understand what has happened in the last 9.5 years. The atrocities you see against Dalits, against SCs, against STs, against the backward classes, against the minorities. It's gone up. I mean, you have seen what is happening. You saw what happened in New. You saw the lynching incident.
But that doesn't really change with the caste census. No matter what the Congress spokesperson is saying, let's be very clear that the Congress and the opposition is pushing the idea of a caste census because they believe this provides a counterfoil to religion and to nationalism, because you can't deal with the Prime Minister and the BJP on the issue of religion, polarization and the issue of nationalism. Therefore, you prop up the idea of a caste census. Let's take the next question. Will the BJP benefit or suffer losses by contesting assembly elections without a chief ministerial candidate? Here are the responses in our poll. 41% of the overall respondents think it will benefit the BJP. 43% say no, they will suffer a loss. So more people think that there will be a loss than those who think that the BJP will benefit from this strategy. Yashwant Deshmukh, how do you read these numbers? 43 versus 41. 43% of the respondents feeling that the BJP will be negatively impacted because it doesn't have a chief ministerial face.
I don't blame their supporters and even the largely voters because they are used to BJP's strategy of playing or going ahead in the contest with a face. You know, when you ask this question to the BJP spokesperson, though he did mention that many a times BJP did, but he ultimately came out with only 2 examples, and both the examples were the one where BJP was actually trying to get into the power equation for the first time. And they did not have in that kind of a phase to be placed. One place, the best phase was outside the party and they were themselves confused. Second place, it was BJP was a junior partner of Shiv Sena. So they didn't know what to go about that. So all in all, I mean, almost 99% of the elections that BJP has gone in the last, particularly last few years or so, they have always gone ahead with a clear-cut face. So obviously, it's a fresh new strategy. It may or may not work, but you cannot blame the BJP supporters to be confused on that whether it might work, it may not work. They just don't know.
No one knows. If it works out, it's Chanakya Niti, it's a political masterstroke. If it backfires, well, then, you know, the BJP couldn't read the writing on the wall. They shouldn't have undermined the regional satraps. You know, Panditri is easy. So Yashwant Deshmukh and Sandeep Shastri have it much easier than those in the BJP and the Congress making the strategy, because hindsight is always 20/20. So the Panditri is right today. The Panditri will be right on the day of the exit poll and on the day of counting and later. But those who are on the field and they're the ones scoring the runs, they need to go out. Like, you know, so Sandeep Shastri, the BJP can say, hum jo karenge, Sandeep Shastri usme looks nikalenge. Hum kare to bole, can't you see the reading on the wall? Can't you see the writing on the wall? There is visible anti-incumbency in Madhya Pradesh, and therefore we are trying to prop up the new face so people get the sense that there could be a new chief minister.
Rahul, there is a clear logic in what the BJP is doing. Nobody is denying it. I think we need to see the context of the contest. My own reading is the BJP takes the national face as its main face. But in those states where the party ranged against it has a local face and the BJP does not have a local face, they have ran into trouble. They have been able to succeed when the opposition has not got a face to project. If you look at the past, this is a clear indication. So when they are in the race with the Prime Minister as their face, if the opposition has a state leader with some credibility and visibility, it becomes then a challenge to be able to defeat that opposition.
Okay, I'll take the next question, because Despite the fact that they're part of the India alliance, the Samajwadi Party and the AAP have decided to field candidates in this round of assembly elections. What does this mean about the opposition alliance's strategy and about their cohesiveness? When the Sea Voter team asked this question, here are the responses on the political stock exchange. The opposition alliance India has not been able to formulate any strategy yet. That's the view of 33% of the respondents. The strategy of the opposition alliance is to contest assembly elections separately and fight the Lok Sabha elections together. 42% of the respondents feel this way. Don't know, can't say, 25%. That's a very high percentage of don't know, can't say. But is this confusing? Yashwant Deshmukh, or do most people get it? They'll fight the Lok Sabha election together.
I think most of them are. I think, Rahul, most of them are getting it simply because if you look into the 67, 77 or 89 experiments, they were in those opposition experiments, BJP did contest alongside all the left parties, CPI and CPM. They did not go into an alliance, but there was an understanding of sorts. So even though, there are going to be glitches as such, for example, in West Bengal, to start, to say the least about. Or
no, Punjab and Delhi as well. Punjab and Delhi as well. How do you pepper over those differences? How do you allocate seats?
As far
Very
as the
difficult.
opposition voters are concerned, Rahul, I think they are kind of getting it. There is possibly a strategy of sort and like that. But how much actually the voters at large and the swing voters, as we have always called in the middle of the ground, which are neither left nor right, nor pro-BJP, nor anti-BJP, nor anti-Congress, nor pro-Congress, that big chunk of the middle of the ground voters, at a time of election, do they feel that this entire alternative, this entire thing is a viable alternative to Modi and the BJP? That
Okay,
remains
Shama
to be
Mohammed,
seen.
if the AAP and the Samajwadi Party contest in states like Madhya Pradesh and elsewhere, it only hurts the Congress. I mean, what kind of an alliance is this where you can't make your own friends not fight assembly election because it only hurts you? So clearly their own political interest is far more important to them than trying to beat the BJP.
Okay, Rahul, just one more before I come to that.
No, why don't you just answer for once? Answer the question that you asked, Shama.
Okay, because you mentioned about religious politics versus caste politics. I believe you should not mix religion and politics. I mean, we are talking about representation, and that's important. Today, we saw what is a caste census say. What is a representation? We are asking
No,
the
but
BJP.
this breaks the flow of the entire conversation. I'm asking you a particular question. Instead of answering it when you were asked that question, when you didn't answer that question and I asked you that question, now you're coming back to it. Why don't you answer instead the question that you asked, Shama?
Because when I was answering it, you moved away. Anyway, this answer to this question is that when we formed the alliance, we knew that there would be issues in certain states. That is, one is with AAP in Delhi and Punjab. And we have mentioned very clearly in our meetings that certain states will decide how the seat sharing will be, and it will not be decided at the central level. Yes, we do have. There are one of those states are there and in Delhi and Punjab, but there are many other states, Rahul, which we have the alliance. We have it in Maharashtra, we have it in Tamil Nadu, so we have it in Karnataka, so we have it in many other states. We have it in Bihar. Definitely we have an issue and we will sort it out.
Who do you have an alliance with in Karnataka? I thought the JDS was on the BJP side. Who do you have an alliance with?
No. What I'm saying is that I'm saying is that we are having alliances. We might be also, we never know. There might be a small party we would want to have. We will not know. So what I'm trying to say is we have with the RJD in Bihar. We do have alliance. We have with the DMK. We have in Maharashtra with the Shiv Sena and the NCP. So we do know that there are, and in Jammu and Kashmir, there's the National Conference. So we do know that we have in certain areas, we will have issues and we will sort it. You have to understand.
Sandeep Shastri, do you see the Congress and a party like the AAP be able to work around their differences in Delhi and Punjab? Or given the fact that Khaira has been arrested, the fact that Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann have justified and doubled down on the arrest, it is highly unlikely that there will be any kind of a compromise and understanding.
Rahul, the real glue of this alliance was to be seen in these crucial states we have just now talked about. I think an attempt to make a virtue of a necessity is being projected by saying this is not for assembly elections, this is only for the Lok Sabha elections. But let us remember, you are in opposition, and if you have to deal with the NDA, you can't say it's only in the Lok Sabha election and not in the assembly election. I'm reminded of what used to be said in 1978, divided we fall, united we stand. And I would differ slightly from Yashwant ji. 1977 and 89 was very different, and now it's very different. And unless this alliance from the beginning is able to demonstrate its unity, I think it will be a huge challenge in being able to, in any way, give a tough fight to the NDA then.
Okay, the idea of the India alliance, far more potent than the reality. There are very serious differences in states like Punjab, states like Delhi, and therefore will they be able to come together? You know, it's where both the parties are relatively equally placed that it's tough to allocate seats. In a state like Uttar Pradesh, the SP is much bigger than the Congress, and therefore that's relatively easier. In a state like Tamil Nadu, they had an alliance even earlier with the DMK, so nothing really turns on it. It is, as Sandeep Shastri says, in these contentious states, whether you're able to arrive at an alliance, that the efficacy of the idea of the India alliance is actually tested. The other big political story this week is the story about the caste census. The political stock exchange tracker team is working with C-Voter with a whole bunch of questions on whether the caste census has some efficacy. How do people perceive? Do they want that there be a caste census? So we'll have that out for you later in the week. But I want to thank our guests, Yashwant Deshmukh, Sandeep Shastri, Tuhin Sinha, Shama Mohammed for joining us. When we come back with the next edition of the Political Stock Exchange, we will show you what people think of the caste census. Meanwhile, I want to give you a quick heads up. We've got the India Today Mumbai conclave happening this week in Mumbai. Here's a preview of what to expect, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Mumbai for the India Today conclave.
India Today Conclave 2023, October 4th and 5th, Mumbai. Book your seats now. Visit indiatodayconclave.com. Presented by Darwin Platform Group of Companies, The Visionaries. Knowledge partner NL Dalmia Institute of Management Studies and Research. Tourism partner Gujarat Tourism. Conclave partner Motwani Jadeja Foundation. Celebration partner Radico, Spirit of Excellence. Jewelry partner De Beers, Forever Mark. Luxury partner Mercedes-Benz.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant.
Polarization Nataka has returned to Karnataka, where clashes erupted during an Eid procession on Sunday. At least 15 people were injured. The BJP is blaming the Congress for allowing the Aurangzeb rally, where swords were brandished and stones pelted.
Karnataka's Shivamogga on the boil as communal tensions flared up during an Eid Milad procession on Sunday. A few miscreants pelted stones at Hindu homes amidst rumours of stone pelting at the procession, triggering communal clashes. Protesters attempted to breach police barricades and pelted stones at the police. The police then had to resort to lathi charge to disperse the crowd and impose Section 144, which prohibits unlawful assembly.
ರಾಗಿಗುಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಈದ್ ಮಿಲಾದ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಷನ್ ಇರುವಾಗ ಯಾರೋ ದುಷ್ಕರ್ಮಿಗಳು ಕಲ್ಲು ತೋರಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದು ಅಲಿಗೇಷನ್ ಬಂತು. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಕಿರ್ಮಿಷಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋದೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ. ಸ್ಪಾಟಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಕೆಲವರು ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಆದರು, ಕೆಲವರು ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹುಡುಗರ ಗುಂಪು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಾಂಧಲೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ದಾಂಧಲೆ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಯಿತು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ 144 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಗಿಗುಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
More than 10 people sustained injuries while over 50 were taken into police custody. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah claimed the situation is now under control while condemning the violence.
ಯಾವುದೇ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಲೆಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕಾನೂನು ಬಾಹಿರವಾದಂಥ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ. ಇಂಥ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಹಿಸಲ್ಲ, ಹತ್ತಿಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಈಗ ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣದಲ್ಲಿದೆ.
Home Minister G. Parameshwara said trouble was expected.
ಹೌದಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮರ್ಥರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು, ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಪ್ರೊಸೆಷನ್ ಹೋದಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು.
The BJP has slammed the Congress government for allowing swords in the procession in the district celebrating Muslim rulers Aurangzeb and Tipu Sultan while putting restrictions on Ganesh processions.
Right from day one, this government is supporting all the forces who are into number two businesses and lot of clubs and illegal alcohol sale. Appeasement politics of Congress government has led to all these communal violences.
Communal clashes have returned to this sensitive district of Shivamogga, which was once the epicenter of the Savarkar versus Tipu showdown in the run-up to the Karnataka Assembly elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
As the India-Canada diplomatic face-off continues, the memories of the Kanishk plane bombing have come back to haunt Justin Trudeau. India Today is the only television channel reporting from Ground Zero. Our correspondent Anisha Mathur visited the Air India Flight 182 Memorial. Here's her report.
June 23rd, 1985. The ill-fated Air India Boeing 747 Kanishka with 329 passengers on board plunged into the sea off the Irish coast after a mid-air blast in the early hours. A bomb placed in a suitcase had exploded, killing all the passengers. 260 of them were Canadian citizens. Only 131 bodies were recovered from the sea. Fast forward to 2023. Amid rising diplomatic tensions between Ottawa and New Delhi, the deadly bombing is back in the news. India Today visited the Air India Flight 182 Memorial in Toronto. The memorial is visited by hundreds of people every day.
This memorial is also a silent witness to the fact that it was not just one country or one community that is affected by terrorism. People from India, Canada, Japan, 3 countries died, Ireland was traumatized. This particular memorial, the sundial, contains stones from India, Canada, Japan, Ireland, and USA as a memorial, as a tribute to those who died in the bombing in 1985.
Now it tells you on here all the names of the people from it.
These visitors believe that it is important for the next generation to know and learn about these incidents.
New Brunswick.
That we shouldn't forget this tragedy, and in light of the recent news, it's more important that I educate my children to know about our past.
Significant in the sense it remembers the tragedy that these people innocently were involved in.
Okay.
And it was horrific at the time.
Earlier, India Today also spoke to a victim of the bombing who lost his family in the attack.
You know, it was not, the tapes were not erased by mistake or lost. They were wiped clean.
Yes.
The evidence was all there. They test fired the bomb 2 weeks before the actual bomb. So let's understand that this is a state that has looked the other way. And they cannot now point fingers at India 38 years later and say, you know, this happened and this guy is our citizen. Because it was all their citizens who killed our people. My family. I know so many other families. I know so many other victims' families, I mean, who have bonded with me over these years. So that is a shocker for me.
The Canadian courts acquitted all the suspects at different points in time, citing factual errors and credibility issues in the evidence gathered. Even as India-Canada relations hit the rock bottom, victims still await justice by the Canadian authorities. With Anisha Mathur in Canada, Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
By Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 37 and minimum 23 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 29 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 25 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 28 and minimum 20 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 29 and minimum 21 degrees.
are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 37 and minimum 23 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 29 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 25 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 28 and minimum 20 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 29 and minimum 21 degrees.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Co-presented by JK Tyre Ranger Series, stay wild at heart.
Co-presented by
हर घर का हीरो ग्रीन प्लाई का E0. Co-powered by PolicyBazaar.com, हर family होगी insured. Co-powered by the bold look of Kohler.
Good evening, you're watching News Today. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Two big stories coming in. The Bihar government has made public its caste census data. What could be the implications of that? And on the other front, the Prime Minister was in Rajasthan with the Modi guarantee card. All of that coming up in the course of the next 45 minutes. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. These are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi tears into the Gwalior government, invokes Kanhaiya Lal's murder in Udaipur, calls it an unforgivable sin. Rigs up Bhilwara gang rape, claims Beti is not safe in Rajasthan, calls his guarantees the Modi guarantee. Nitish Kumar government releases Bihar caste survey, triggers a political storm. While Nitish Kumar hails it as a historic moment, the BJP calls it an eyewash. Funds for Bengal showdown escalates, high drama at TMC protest in Delhi. Abhishek Banerjee alleges conspiracy to stop protests. Saffron Party hits back, says corrupt TMC protesting on the streets. Tension simmers over violence during Eid-e-Milan procession in Karnataka, Shimoga. Cops claim stones pelted during rally. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah claims stones pelted at the yatra. Been a close shave for the national capital as a big terror module was busted. 3 terrorist planned attacks in North India nabbed with chemicals for IEDs. All right, viewers, let's begin with the shocking news that is coming in from Nanded, Maharashtra. 24 dead in just 24 hours at a government hospital in Nanded. What we have been given to understand, victims including up 12 newborn babies. Victims include 12 newborn babies. The hospital administration has admitted to shortage of medicine, which is criminal. What we're given to understand right now is that 24 have been reported dead in just 24 hours. All of that at a government hospital in Nanded, Maharashtra. What is tragic is that the hospital administration has now admitted to a shortage of medicine. Lives lost at a government hospital due to negligence, shortage of medicine.
या काळामध्ये जी हाफकिन ह्या संस्थेकडनं औषधांची खरेदी होणार होती तर ती झालेली नाही आहे. त्यामुळे एक थोडीफार अडचण निर्माण झाली. आपले जे काही सँक्शन बजेट आहेत त्याच्यामधनं रुग्णसंख्या जास्त प्रमाणात वाढल्यामुळे हे बजेट पण थोडंफार कमी पडतं आणि मग अशा वेळेस आपण अत्यावश्यक रुग्णांना किंवा गरजू रुग्णांना औषधामुळे मृत्यू येईल असं कधी घडू देत नाही.
Cutting across to Abhijit Karande, my colleague who's joining us on the phone line, getting us up to speed with this tragedy that has taken place in Nanded at a government hospital, 24 dead.